Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome once again to Toon Jam podcast. I am Matt.
And I am J-Man.
And today we are going back to the old school.
Old school.
Kicking it old with the old boys. And we are visiting Silverhawks. You may remember them as being partly metal, partly real.
Mm-hmm.
Silverhawks. So, let me tell you a bit about them. It's an American animated television series developed by Rankin/Bass Productions and distributed by Lorimar Telepictures in 1986. The animation was provided by Japanese studio Pacific Animation Corporation. In total, 65 episodes were made. It was created as a space-based equivalent of their previous series, Thundercats.
Oh.
As was the case with Thundercats, there was also a Silverhawks comic book, which was published by Marvel Comics under their imprint Star Comics. And Lorimar Telepictures was purchased by Warner Brothers in 1989. And the rights to Silverhawks are now held by Warner Brothers. So if they were to remake it, it would probably fall under DC.
Oh.
DC Comics. So some extra info for you and fun factual stuff. There obviously was a toy line.
Yeah.
Which, you know, pretty much is it's another one of those guys where the entire series comes out of trying to sell toys. But there weren't just toys, there were other stuff related. There's board game, puzzles, bed sheets, a plastic pencil pouch
Oh yes.
on one side, and this is the best, I think, pajamas, which included wing flaps under the arms to more other characters.
That's amazing.
And fun fact, in the 2011 Thundercats remake, Monstar, who is the main villain, briefly appears in a cameo in the episode Legacy. He was seen on a monitor in the bridge of Mumra's ship.
Ah.
So, you know, if that had done well, we could have had a new Silverhawks.
That's it.
But it didn't, and we didn't. So, hey-ho. So let's talk about our previous relationship with Silverhawks. And did you have one?
Other than us really loving the theme tune, no, I don't think I ever really watched it. I'm pretty sure I'd never checked it out.
I've never seen it.
No.
Well, I remember when you showed me the theme tune, it was entirely new.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't
pretty catchy straight away, isn't it?
It just keeps mentioning that they're partly metal, partly real.
Which is something that like happens in the show all the time as well.
I know. I didn't expect it. Like, I know it's a line in the song. I figured it just fit with the music. But yeah, full on. It is a major part of the show. They keep saying it. Yeah,
they keep trying to put it in like different context as if it'll make more sense if they try and explain it. But it just doesn't make any sense.
I think it just it means that it's like they're partly mechanical, mainly like human. But no, apparently metal is not real.
Yeah, it's like metal is just like an abstract concept.
Yeah. It's super 80s.
Yeah.
But I have a bit of a confession to make, and it upsets me a little bit, if I'm truthfully honest with you. I think I'm starting to like 80s stuff a bit.
What is this? What's happened?
I don't know. I think it might be a bit of Stockholm syndrome with this podcast, to be honest. Just seeing it all, because I don't tend to like it, but I think there's some sort of hilarious nonsense about it that is making me like it.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that we've laughed at it so much. I just can't help it.
Yeah, now it's just like, oh, that's that fun thing that's stupid.
Yeah. I don't really know why. Maybe it's like we're getting more of the latter half of the 80s.
Yeah.
And that's more preferable. I don't know. I mean, there's still things that I like vomit when I see them. but a lot of it is starting to be like, oh yeah.
What a revelation.
I know. It's so, already Silverhawks is looking up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the overexposure's done you, but that's quite a revelation.
Yeah. Because
this is very much, like what you feared going into Thundercats is basically just this turns up the volume on that. Because I mean, I know for me, because I've seen a lot of Thundercats, like this is so weird to watch because it is like Thundercats, like alternative universe. It's like Twilight Zone Thundercats, because like the voice actors mainly the same, like the guy who does Lion-O, the guy who does Mum-Ra, the guy who does Tiger and stuff, I think. So there's like a lot of the voices are exactly the same, and they're doing a lot of the same stuff. Like Monstar is Mum-Ra.
Yeah. even sounds the same.
Yeah, like it's so strange. And then the music is by Bernard Hoffer, the same guy who did Thundercats. And I swear, like so many of the melodies and like the little stings and stuff like that are basically the same, or they're like in reverse almost. Like he couldn't be bothered to actually just like compose something new, so he just got the Thundercats one and then made it backwards so it sounds slightly different. But it's that's what it sounds like because it's so familiar. It seems dead weird. And the intro is like, the style of it's very similar. The end credits, like the way when the titles roll behind stills, it just looks like Thundercats. It's it is really weird. Really weird. Like if someone had made this like recently, you'd be like, they did such a good version of like a Thundercats thing, like such a good Thundercats almost remake. Because it's very very Thundercats. So I think Thundercats fans, if you like the old school stuff, it's worth checking out Silverhawks if you haven't. It's a real weird treat to watch. See everything in a way you've never seen it before.
So I mean, basically, we watched episode 1, which we haven't clarified yet, but we just watched. It's just like the origin story of the Silverhawks. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, isn't it? Just the origin story.
Yeah.
Or origins of the Silverhawks, or something like that. And it's basically the first it's got one of them intros that explains everything.
Yeah.
But then, and that's every episode. But then, for this episode, before that, you also have another intro that explains everything in more detail.
Yeah.
So it's like having two. Like at one point, I genuinely, it goes on for that long. I was a bit like, is this going to be the whole episode?
Yeah,
just
I know what you mean.
Later telling me what has happened. And luckily, it wasn't.
But then the intro comes in, and then most of the episode is explaining the stuff that you've already seen in the first intro.
It basically explains itself 3 times this episode. Yeah. It's weird. I think so. The first character we really see is the guy in the tower? What's his name? Colonel or something.
Yeah, like Commander something or whatever. Like.
And he sounds a lot like Nick Nolte, which is, I had to look it up just to check if it was him or not. It wasn't. Disappointing, but he says a lot of things that don't really fit his character or voice.
Yeah.
He's like when he's like, "Can you hear me? Do you copy, compadre? Over."
Yeah.
And keep saying weird statements.
So much of it was very weird. Like, the dialogue was really odd sometimes.
It was, and the characters look hilarious. Like, it's so obviously for toys.
Yeah.
Like one of the most obvious, like bar maybe Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
This was up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I will say, other than there's the villains team. So what is it? Monstar.
Yeah.
Who isn't the founding member of the basketball team seen in Space Jam?
Yeah, I know. It was upsetting. I thought we were going to get... I thought that was the real origin
Yeah,
story.
I thought this was the prequel to Space Jam. I was like, oh boy.
Oh, yes.
Finally. But no, that is not the case. But actually, I thought he was all right. He was quite villainous.
Yeah.
He was stuck in prison and you see him escape.
Mm.
I mean, it's pretty stupid that basically he gets his power from the Moonstar, is it?
Yeah.
But they put him in a cell directly facing the Moonstar with a window in it.
Yeah.
And they shut the window whenever it shines. Because it has it's like a flare, isn't it?
Yeah.
A Moonstar flare or something. So they shut the window, but then he manages to break it open slightly.
Yeah. I think the most confusing thing was that like as it was starting, he started like punching the bars and bending them, which made you think like, why is he still in prison if he can break the bars anyway?
Yeah.
And then after that, even when they put the shutters on, he punched through the shutters.
Yeah.
Like, why hasn't he punched his way out like so long ago?
Yeah.
He wasn't even doing. It wasn't even much effort. Like he was just kind of like, he looked like a guy sparring with a punching bag. He was just like doing little blows, little jabs. Like he didn't break a sweat, and he was bending these giant metal bars. So it's like, why are you still in here?
And then all I could think was like the two. So there's two like security guards that he's trying to like pay off, and they're like, no way, compadre.
Yeah.
I ain't give it. And he's like, I'll pay you this. And he's like, we know what happened to the last guys. And then obviously he jeffs them up as soon as he gets out.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like, why are you being like that to him?
Yeah.
Because he's totally going to get his power and he's well going to jeff you over.
That's it.
You're best off just shut it and leave instantly. Get as far away from him as you can. Don't gloat. Don't rub it in.
That's it.
And then escapes.
Yeah, and it immediately sees his old weird space squid buddy or something. He's just like
giant
milling around the prison. Yeah.
And he's like, to be honest, I felt really bad for the space squid because he says, you've gone wild and you don't remember me. Yeah. I am your master. But I feel like he just didn't like him because as soon as he starts attacking him.
Yeah.
And then he just throws like some giant piece of machinery on him, turns him into his spaceship.
Yeah,
and it's just like
dead awkward as well, isn't it? Like he's gone from being this like free floating squid to this really rigid,
like trapped.
Yeah, trapped in like what's essentially the top half of a motorcycle.
Yeah, and this is like the earliest version of Shamu's story. This is Blackfish. Like, it's quite sad. But it does give him a more villainous tone.
Yeah.
It's like fair, as much as that upsets me, it should do. He's a villain. And it's not real, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's that thing.
And then we sort of see the Silverhawks, who I'm pretty sure we don't really like. Then for saying it's about them, I felt like as characters, I didn't see any development whatsoever in this episode.
No, like you just didn't know who they were. Like
it was like partly real. I doubt it.
Yeah,
they're basically all metal.
Might as well be all metal. Now there's this whole weird, like the time they could have spent introducing you to the characters. There was this odd scene where like the general and some alien general like sat down in some room together and like went over their whole like biometric data and stuff. Yeah. And like it got really specific where it like zoomed in. You had all these X-ray versions of it and it was like arms, yes, lasers, yes, shoulder lasers, yes, ankles, yes. And you were like, what are you even checking for? Like they just kept saying the body parts.
The best thing was like, because it was like, so there's two, they're basically like Vulcans, aren't they? So you've got like Spock and Mrs. Spock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like checking on everything, but every time she like says yes, they like she had to say something different. It wasn't like, you know, like arms good to go, legs good to go. It was like every time she used a different phrase, and you could see by the end they were sort of running out of phrases. It was like affirmative, yes, excellent, good condition,
good time,
great condition.
Let's roll. Party on, dude.
Yes. And it made when she said yes hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just made that so funny. So there's that whole scene, and then it turns out there's two twins on the team.
Yeah.
So let's go through the characters. The first they kind of make a big deal about these two twins.
Yeah.
Who are, is it something like Steelheart and Steel
Will? Yeah.
And it's their hearts get turned into metal because they're not working properly.
Something, yeah.
But they can feel each other's pain because they're twins.
Yeah.
For some reason. The whole having metal on him. I quite liked the reasoning. It's like basically it's some sort of future space travel, but the way they travel, they still need this suit to go through this super fast travel thing. So they have to be partly metal, partly real.
Partly real, yeah.
Otherwise they'll die. And like there's like Spock is saying like we just don't have the technology to. He's like, one day we'll have transporters, but we don't have that now. But we do have Silverhawks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you've made up your own little thing here. This is, you know, it's a good enough reason to have Silverhawks. And then you see the characters. So there's those two. There's
the main guy, isn't there? That's like, what's his name?
He's just essentially a leader, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got. I can't remember what his name is now. But it's like,
I can get the character names up right now. So there's is it Commander Stargazer?
No, that's the guy.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Commander Stargazer is the one at the start, isn't he? That's Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte is Commander Stargazer.
Quicksilver's the leader because his name is Jonathan Quick.
Yeah. And he's known here for, it says, for his quick reflexes.
Oh yeah.
And even quicker thinking.
Oh, they've got it covered.
Yeah. And so that's three of them, and then the fourth Silverhawk that sort of flies around is an alien from the mime race called the Copper Kid,
which was well confusing.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? What? That was just like not really explained. And he looks like a weird clown. He looks like Wily Kit and Wily Cat from Thundercats.
Yeah. But with the mime makeup on. Yeah,
but even they had like little weird clown line type things as well. So like they look, very shockingly similar.
But I think the best thing about the Copper Kid is his voice.
Definitely.
Which as soon as you hear, it's like, it's not just funny, it is hilarious. Like it really just takes you off guard.
There's a roll call bit, isn't there? Where they're all, they all jump out.
It's the first time you hear his voice.
They all jump out and they like in a line.
And then he's like, Roland. That with this, I can't even do it. It's such a it's like really crap tinny effect in it.
Yeah, he sounds like some sort of weird depressed clanger.
Yeah. It's like a clanger that's been shoved into a dial-up.
Yeah, it's a really weird clanger whistle voice. It's the first time he makes any noise, it's just like, you're like, what? It's so jarring and so funny at the same time.
And then the last character in the team is Bluegrass.
Yeah.
who is basically a character that proves that the cowboy fashion never dies, even in the future. So he is the second in command of the Silverhawks and the chief pilot. So he doesn't have a flight suit, does he?
No.
As much. But he's a cowboy at heart. But he flies the actual ship.
Yeah.
Here's something that really did crack me up. He has an interface with the Mirage's pilot system, which is the ship, which he's affectionately dubbed Hot Licks.
What?
But he essentially wears a Silverhawks costume, sans the like face covering, has a cowboy hat on and a bandana around his neck. Yeah,
and has like a guitar, which is clearly probably a banjo.
He's just a man of the Old West. I think to me, it's the equivalent of having sort of a commander in the army now dressed up as like William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
You just be like, get this guy out of here. What is going on?
He's got his ruff around his neck, like.
Yeah.
So this is all the characters, and you immediately, you all you see really is what they can do. There's no real explanation as to sort of their actual motives or character in any way, other than here's what they can do. They do a test where they fight this guy, this weird alien, his shit, and he just looks like a vegetable.
Yeah, vegetable man. They fight his stuff, and he threatens to like take him down with his like attack drones and stuff.
Yeah,
and they do all their Silverhawk stuff. And the thing is, like, as kind of like cool as their like setup is, because they do this whole thing where they raise their hands over their face to like put their masks on and stuff, and like some of it looks really cool, but then some of it is like, it just seems lame. Like the shoulder lasers are probably the worst laser invention.
So yeah, and they don't even look cool. That's what's funny. They're just tiny, really thin laser beams that they don't need, like, give them a colour. It's a cartoon, isn't it, at the end of the day?
And like, why would you have them on your shoulders of all places? Like, you can't. Like, could you imagine, like, if there was a beam coming out of your shoulder right now, how awkward it would be to control?
to aim it, like
how do you aim?
What does your shoulder point at?
You don't know where your shoulder's looking at any given time. And these guys are doing like flips in the air, and they're like going at high speed through space. It's like, why would you have shoulder lasers?
Yeah,
bizarre.
There's a reason no one ever did that. I mean, Iron Man doesn't have shoulder.
No.
Cannons.
They've got foot lasers as well.
Like, if you have shoulder cannons, they go above at the same level as your head.
Yeah. So
not like in line with your armpits.
They're like, these ones, they come up like out the top almost. They're so awkward. Like, I don't know who thought that up.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, even when you see it, you're like, that's not. Why is that happening?
Yeah,
it doesn't look cool. It doesn't look effective. And somehow they're really good at using them. So their training must have been very impressive. Yeah, because the copper kid does like a backflip and somehow ends up shooting the shoulder lasers at the thing he's trying to shoot. So I don't know how he did that.
The copper kid. I don't think we really saw it in this episode, unless I missed it. But he also has frisbees.
Frisbees?
Yeah, that he throws at people.
It's so strange, the characters in this one. Yeah. Have you got a list of the villains as well?
Oh, the villains. Okay, yeah. So obviously we've got Monstar. He's the leader.
Yeah.
And he's essentially just some big. It says here he appears as a feline, muscular humanoid with dark hair streaked with red all over the body. A voluminous mane and red mane and beard, and an eye patch with the symbol of a black star covering his left eye. Yeah. And then, when he gets the power of the Moonstar, he turns into like a metal version of himself, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which is like hilarious. He looks like a Tron character or something.
Yeah.
His squid is Skyrunner.
Yeah.
Obviously. Then, so right, here's his like lackeys.
Yeah.
Yes Man. All-purpose lackey, thrall, and or sycophant. Right, so I don't know if you remember what he looks like, because I don't.
No, he was like in the middle of the lineup when they said it, and I was like, "What? Yes, man."
Yes, man.
Just like think of like the ultimate villain in the world. It's just yes men. Just we need to have at least one yes man on the line.
Just a blooming bunch of yes men. I mean, it's one up from the unmen.
Yes, it is actually.
There's that. The next one we've got is Hardware.
Yeah.
So he's like the tech guy. And he looks ridiculous. Giant. He looks like someone out of like Labyrinth, but with a gun.
Yeah, with a big Gatling gun.
Gun on his back and in his arm. So there's him. Melodia. This was a good one. So she plays instruments.
Yeah.
She almost always carries a musical synthesizer called Sound Smasher as a weapon.
That's so 80s.
I mean, she just looks like some ridiculous 80s stage act. There's no menace in her whatsoever.
No. She's got these weird like glasses almost as well, where like one of them's upside down. It looks like Elton John would wear them. Like.
Yeah, she is essentially a female Elton John.
Female hair metal and Elton John.
The next one is Windhammer.
Oh yeah.
Who is just essentially another hair metal guy with a giant tuning fork that controls weather.
It's just that one was dead weird as well, because like whoever was describing the lineup was really like, him and that tuning fork.
It was Nick Nolte, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, him and that damn tuning fork. Like that was like the worst thing that had ever happened to them. It's like, how bad could that be?
Apparently pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. There's a Molecular.
Oh yeah.
So this is a shapeshifter. He's the undercover operative, essentially.
Yeah, when they tell you like he can turn into anything, take the form of anything, and then like he turns into this weird evil dog thing. Like that's the first thing he seems to. And it's like, well, why would he switch into that? If you turn into anything, you'd never choose whatever form that's supposed to be.
Molecular. Buzzsaw.
Oh yeah, didn't see him.
He's a sentient war machine. The light copper shade that is a member of Monstar's mob. They're called the mob as well, aren't they?
Oh no, yeah, the mob.
There's some weird. I mean, this whole scene where it described them was like the Untouchables.
Yeah.
But with ridiculous toys. This was a good one. Poker Face.
Oh yeah.
Who was essentially like some. He's a robot who wears a mafia suit and has slot machines for his eyes. Carries a cane decorated with playing card suits.
I can't even imagine in this futuristic space scenario where he would come in handy.
We need to watch the episode, clearly.
Yeah.
It's like
what intergalactic battle would you be like, if only I had like, a slot machine.
If I had slot machines for eyes as well, not if I had slot machines for eyes, you'd be eating my dust right now. Mumbo Jumbo.
Oh yeah, we got that.
So this guy, he is essentially a robot mentor. Nothing else needs to be said about that.
No, that's it.
I don't know why he's called Mumbo Jumbo.
No.
I think the only reason I can think is because he's large. He's the sworn enemy of Steelheart.
Oh.
Because of Steelheart's strength and skill, which makes him, which takes him down easily.
Oh.
So he hates him. We've got Time Stopper.
Time Stopper.
Yeah, so I don't remember seeing him. It says a cocky 14-year-old juvenile delinquent with a chest device that has the ability to suspend all ambient motion and kinetic energy.
Oh man, yeah. So it's like,
but only for one limbo minute. So
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you need your limbo timer on you for that power.
That's it.
Zero, the memory thief.
Oh.
This is I think these ones weren't read out.
No.
So I think he can steal memories.
Cool. I imagine that comes in handy.
Yeah. Then you've got Smiley, who is this. I mean, this one sounds great. He's a mummified boxer robot that is brought back to life by Poker Face.
Cool.
So there you go.
Yeah. What a lineup.
This is great. I'll finish this. There's two. One called Bounty Hunter. He's got a face resembling a bulldog. And then we'll finish up with Uncle Rattler, who is Yes Man's uncle.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
He only appears in one episode, though.
Uncle Rattler just turns up. All right.
So that's your basic layout of Silverhawks. Like I say, you don't really see any of them in this episode.
No.
And it kind of doesn't, like, they don't confront them at all. It's setting up the premise. Monstar escapes. He's getting the gang back together.
Yeah.
The Silverhawks are sent into space.
I imagine the next episode is some sort of Ocean's 11 heist scenario where Monstar goes everywhere to try and recruit all these guys back into the team.
Meanwhile, the Silverhawks are trying to rob Poker Face's bank, a casino, because he has a casino ship. I don't know if I included that.
Oh, a casino ship. Oh yeah, that's the next level.
So yeah, there you go, Silverhawks. That's the basic rundown anyway. I think with all that, you've all got enough information on Silverhawks.
Yeah.
And are probably sick about hearing about all the characters. So should we move on to our reviews? Okay, Lieutenant, we gotta take down Monstar's mob. You wanna get to Monstar, you gotta get to the mob.
Who are these guys?
Well,
tell me, boss.
Well, Lieutenant, let me get the skinny and the main players that we gotta take down in order to get to the big man. First one, Yes Man.
Damn it.
Yeah, you know his name. He's a lackey, a thrall, and/or a sycophant.
How are we supposed to know which one he is?
Well, it's tough enough, because he's half human, half snake in appearance.
Damn it. That's the worst combo.
Yeah, it's hard to know if he's partly snake or partly real.
And all those yeses as well? Damn, this guy sounds like a real chump.
He is a real chump, let me tell you. But if you want a chump, we gotta get to Melodia. She's some kind of chump, let me tell you. A musical mistress. And she plays, a synth.
Huh? A synthesizer?
Yeah. And not just any synth, she calls it Sound Smasher.
I can't even imagine what smashing sounds will be like.
Let me tell you something. It's pretty loud. We're gonna need our earplugs for this job.
Oh man, I remember this broad. My cousin Vinny, he heard some of her melodies, as she calls them, and let me tell you, he's pushing daisies right now.
Ah, dang, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, he was a chump anyway.
Real chump, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to it. Molecular, he's next. And let me tell you, this Molecular, it could be anyone. It could be in this room right now.
What?
You know, it can turn into anything. It could be a dog. It could be a dog with horns. It could be a dog with a reptilian tail. It could be any kind of dog you can imagine.
He could be a dog with a beak. With a beak?
Damn straight.
He could be a dog with a beaver tail?
Right on.
Damn.
Yeah, so
damn boss.
This guy, we'll take him down. But if we want to get to any of these, we gotta get to the worst of them all. You ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, but we gotta take down Poker Face.
Oh no. Please, boss, tell me you're joking. Not the guy with the eyes. Not the guy with the eyes.
Slot machines for eyes.
No.
You gotta be careful around this guy. They do a lot of damage and they are dangerous.
I just can't imagine what kind of havoc this guy can cause with slot machines for eyes.
I mean, imagine. I know you said you couldn't, but imagine.
I'm trying.
Slot machines for eyes, damn it.
I'm trying, boss, but I just can't get there. I mean, what if he looks straight at you? If he looks straight at you in the face and he gets 2 cherries, huh? What are you supposed to do then?
Let me tell you something, Lieutenant. You'll be out of luck. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have our classic 3-point rating systems, which goes as follows. So, thumbs up, partly real.
Oh, yeah.
Thumbs down, being trapped as a free squid and turning into a spaceship. And shaky middle, partly metal. So good, bad, on the fence in the middle, not really sure. Well, I'm sure, but it's, it's okay. Okay, so Silverhawks Episode One, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it is. It's definitely an exercise in 80s madness. This one, it's if you think Thundercats is a weird concept, you should definitely try Silverhawks, because it seems like they've gone through every aspect of the show and just made it bizarre, from the names of the characters to what they do, the styles of the costumes, the weaponry, the weird aliens in between. Just none of it is like sensical. That's the thing. It's just very weird, but it's all very enjoyable at the same time because it's bizarre, I think. So even though it's not the highest quality show, or it's not a gripping dramatic thing, it's the silliness is still pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think the best thing about this is the ridiculousness. And it is the same sort of as like Thundercats.
Yeah. There's something like memorable about it, something familiar, but also it's extra weird on top. It's got a nice double cherry on top of weird. So I think for me, it's probably going to be a thumbs up, actually. Even though now I've sat with it, I think it's probably going to be a shaky middle, but it's so stupid. I can't help but be like, I would enjoy this probably as a comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I was going into it expecting, right, easy thumbs down. Another toy show. It's like hyper 80s, and it's just going to be, and it's not remembered, so it's not even going to have a nostalgia value. But actually, it had enough like science fiction nonsense in it to be, not believable in any way, but you went along with it.
Yeah.
There's enough nonsense in these ridiculous characters that did make me laugh. Like you couldn't help when you saw all those characters, but just enjoy it so much. And even though we didn't really get any story other than like the most story we got is the escape from prison. But it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to be thumbs down, but I too am a thumbs up. Because that theme tune is amazing.
Yeah.
The characters are hilarious, even down to their voices. That Copper Kid voice really cracked me up. It's just a belting comedy, whether it means to be or not.
It really is.
It really is funny.
Mm.
And as well, I think the reason I'm going to give it a thumbs up because it started to, for once, I appreciated. Obviously, I've already said I kind of started to appreciate the 80s.
Mm.
And it was when I was watching this that I thought, actually, there's been a few things we've watched I quite like.
Mm.
And even the look of it, as much as I want to hate it, there's parts of it I like.
Mm.
But also the sort of the whole toy thing.
Yeah.
Now, it has ruined many, but at the same time, you think back then, a lot of the reason now everything seems like it's just reboots and stuff, and we talk about it all the time and moan about it and complain about it. But you can see why, because like toys were so important to the cartoons back then.
Yeah.
That they were making loads of new stuff. And it kind of wasn't new because they'd already made the toys to make the show.
Yeah.
It was like a bankable way of making something brand new. And it's kind of a bit like a trade-off. So you get all these crappy characters and stupid stories and ridiculous nonsense things pulled together. Like this show would seem somewhat like, or it all seems okay, like everything fits together until you see the villains.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it doesn't. But it's those kind of things that actually, you know, they did make memorable shows and new properties that we just don't get anymore, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not completely fair to say because we have watched quite a few like newer Cartoon Network stuff, and they are still making new stuff. But it does seem like they're also making a lot of reboot stuff, which, you know, has its ups and downs as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that back then, like that's why it's, you know, that's why they're doing reboots now, because this stuff was so popular. And as much as I hate all the corporate side of it that can often ruin it, it did show me a slight appreciation for it with this.
Yeah, I think there's also the fact that like it's almost like there's some weird creative shortcuts and like just out of the box thinking that goes into having to do things that sort of backwards way of being like, well, we've got these things that make no sense and now you make a story out of it. And sometimes you get magic like this where it's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It just ends up being actually fun to watch in the end somehow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it is interesting because you can sort of imagine the process that these writers must have to go to, like, to try and think of something. And then, you know, it seems like, oh, what a load of rubbish. Like, why has it got all this? And it's just like, actually, they must have had to work really hard to put anything together. Yeah. So the fact that they did it so often is pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, 2 thumbs up for Silverhawks.
Silverhawks.
I'm sure there's plenty of like lower ranking shows on this that have, you know, that would hate it. It's almost unjust, but yeah, it was fun, and
it was fun.
Like it was a joy to talk about as well. Like, I want to watch more just to see more about him, so you can make a bit more. So there you go. Another week down. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please feel free to rate and review us over on whatever you listen to us on, if that makes sense. It really helps us out. It helps people find us and grow our listenership, which is great. You can also, if you want more, you can go over to our Patreon, and that gives you some bonus episodes. Otherwise, you can follow us on the 3 holy metal parts of the internet: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Toon Jam Pod. If maybe you agreed with us, maybe you didn't, let us know. We're happy to chat about some Toon chat, and if you have any recommendations of shows, throw them our way. We're ready to take on more, as always. I think we're going to do another spooky month in October.
Oh yeah!
So get ready for that. Watch out! So we love a good spooky month. So get ready for that. And until next time, as always, stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.